Hello, and welcome back to the Technically Speaking podcast. I am joined, as always, by the dulcet tones of Shay.
Hello, everybody.
But not really this time, as it's our first time recording from two separate locations, as I have developed the mic, which we'll talk about more in probably next week's podcast, because fortunately, we have the WWDC. Whew.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Just to let you know, we have 16 points here, and that's very, very skimming through it. And then after that, we have we're talking about the Motorola Razr Plus, be perhaps the first in the next gen of flip phones. Very excited. And the Sony Xperia. And then if we have time, we might talk a bit about Apple giving away MagSafe. It's a wee bit of old news, but you know, it's still worth talking about, as you know, it's interesting to hear like lifelong Android users like yourself, Shay, talking about what it'd be like to have MagSafe.
Yeah, damn right. I'm looking forward to it.
So, will we just get right into it?
Absolutely, we shall.
So, WWDC, where to start?
Where to start, indeed.
First off, probably. Well, we'll go through some of the iOS features, because that is what WWDC is all about after all. We'll start off with iOS 17. I'm quite excited for it as an Apple boy. We have custom contact posters, so you can make them through emojis or a picture, and it works like you do it like how you would customize home screens on Apple iPhones. You just you can chop and change it, and it's kind of like a caller ID. Do you know what a memoji is, Shay?
I don't know what a memoji is. So I was literally going to ask you that now as soon as you stopped.
Because I realized Android people, it's like you can make a version of yourself as an emoji with Apple, and you can, you have your memoji. Maybe I'll send you back, and you can put mine in the video just to see. So
it's kind of like the Snapchat sort of.
Yeah, a wee bit like a Bitmoji, but like.
Okay.
Yeah, but more cartoony.
Okay. Oh, okay. I know what that is now.
Yeah, it like takes a scan of your face, but anyway, you can set up your memoji or nice take a picture. Quite cool. And then a load of new features with AirDrop, which is the Apple way of sharing files and things like that. The biggest of which is called Name Drop. So that is, you have your phone number and your email shared via AirDrop. All you have to do is touch the other person's iPhone, and your contact poster will come up, and they can add your number, your email,
beautiful,
whatever you need.
Love that. That's so handy.
Very good for business cards.
Yes, and also very good for someone like me who doesn't remember their phone number.
Yeah, well, you never ring yourself, sure.
That's true.
And then, yeah, so it's the custom contact posters, by the way, will also come up whenever someone calls you. Or when you call someone, they'll see that. So that could be, I can see some jokes or something being played around that of having a weird...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
you know it.
Yeah. But that's a cool use of them. Like, everyone has their own wee business card now in an Apple phone.
Yeah, that's nice.
The next feature coming in will be called Standby. So I think this is an app, and whenever you have your iPhone charging sideways on your, like, say your bedside table or whatever, it brings up a lot of, it turns to a sideways display, and it brings up a lot of, at a glance display system. So like the weather, the time, whatever you want, like that. So it can be used as like an alarm clock, a really expensive alarm clock.
A really expensive alarm clock. You're going to be pretty rich to just have a full iPhone as your alarm clock. That's a flex. That's a flex right there. Oh yeah, or you could be you.
Who's not rich? Probably because. And then, yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like, the example I gave is like having it in the kitchen as like, like a smart home display. So maybe that, alludes to we're not getting any smart home displays for the Apple HomeKit for a while.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So They didn't
at least
phrase it like
at least
that,
they gave
but-
us an alternative.
Yeah, but I suppose you always have your phone on you anyway, but
Yeah,
it is what
exactly.
it is. And then they had a bunch of updates just within iMessage, just improving it in general, and FaceTime improving it in general. The two biggest features were probably audio messages from iMessage can now be transcribed, which you've been seeing on the Pixels for a while now. And FaceTime, you can now send a video message voicemail.
Oh,
So,
that's
if-
nice.
Yeah, so if someone doesn't pick up your FaceTime, you send a picture of them. You send a video of yourself going, what you at? Why you don't pick it up?
Wait, what are we doing? Huh? What's going on?
And this starts the theme of the of a lot of the Apple kind of going on to Pixel features, I believe, like the audio messages and transcribing. I would focus on that because you know what they've added, Shay?
What?
Your favorite feature from your
Call
Pixel,
screening.
call screening.
Yes.
They've added it to iPhone.
Beautiful. Love that.
It's called an Apple name, legally distinct. But
Oh yeah, of course.
I think it's called Voicemail Live or Live Voicemail. But it's Pixel's call screening, so I noticed that when I was watching it, throughout it kind of at parts of it was like, Android's had that for a while, Pixel's had that for a while.
Yeah.
Speaking of Androids and always on displays, I think you need to have the always on display to use the standby, because they said specifically mentioned the Pixel, the iPhone 14 Pro's always on display, allowing it to do that. So it might only be available in the Pro models for now, but who knows, but the 15 it could be available. I forgot to mention that, sorry. And then another new feature coming to iPhones is check-in. So I've been using this for a while. I think I've spoke about it before, of having a NFC tag in my car, and I tap it, and then it lets my partner know where I am and how long it'll take me to go home. Check-in works kind of similarly to that. So, say I'm driving home from my partner's house, I would send a check-in, and then as soon as my phone detects that I am home, it sends her a text message to say I'm home.
Good. I like that.
Pretty cool feature. I will see probably out of this update that will be the one thing I use the most. But
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I will also go ham on my custom contact posters.
Oh, of course.
And another thing they've added is a new journalism app. That's another theme of this WWDC. A focus on mental health, with specifically like WatchOS getting updates as well for better workout tracking and more improved mental health, features. So like one that they always had was the take a break, do a wee breathing exercise. So that's another nice theme of this at the moment. Built-in journal app is really nice. I'm not personally one who journals, but I don't know, it might start now that it will, that it gets built in and see what it's like. True.
This could be the start of it,
yeah. I'll give it a go.
Now that it's so regularly accessible to you, you might find it's actually quite useful.
And then finally, another big change is the classic line, please cover your iPhones of "Hey Siri" is being replaced.
Oh, it's being replaced?
Yes, it is. So Siri got some major improvements. It is no longer, they're dropping the "Hey" and you just call her Siri now, or him Siri, or Siri.
Okay.
So you just say Siri. It's much like how, other like Alexa would work.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know. I kind of like the "Hey Siri" because it meant you could talk about it without triggering it.
That is a very good point. Yeah, because as long as you say Siri in anything now, people's iPhones are going to start going off.
Yeah, you know how bad my watch already was for it. That's why it's.
That's saying "Hey Siri."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. I can see how that could start causing a few problems, but I mean, okay.
It's kind of iconic as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I've already talked about WatchOS. But iPadOS is getting the health app is coming to the iPad, and in terms of all these health improvements to the WatchOS and iPad, it'll all be stored locally in privacy. Another theme of this, keeping everything private and keeping everything locked down, which is an amazing reason to choose Apple. Is that They're very, because they're in their walled garden, no one can get in. You may not be able to get out, but at least no one can get into your stuff. But yeah, so stuff that I've been excited for a while is lock screen widgets coming to iPad OS and more customizable, much like the iOS 16 we seen last year for the iPhones, which I'm really excited for because I actually use an iPad quite often. So
fair enough, yeah.
Be really excited. And also another thing, PDF handling has been improved, so it will be so much better for me to take notes in class, as it involves downloading PDFs to write on.
Oh, right.
Yes, I'm very excited for this. And then macOS seen some more improvements with new screensavers, widget support, a new gaming mode.
Gaming mode? Ooh.
Yeah, with Death Strand coming to Mac this year.
Right, okay.
So there'll be a new gaming mode on Macs. There's also, obviously there's like with what has been going on for the past few years, better video conferencing, again, privacy improvements, Safari profiles, much like, when you sign into Chrome, you use your Google profile, and now password sharing, Netflix's worst nightmare. And then just some minor improvements to AirPods, HomePods, which I'm excited about because I've got my new HomePod, Apple Music in CarPlay, and AirPlay, which is streaming to a TV from your Apple device. Also, tvOS is getting FaceTime. I think that's awesome.
What is tvOS?
For your Apple TV, it means you can so you plug in your Apple TV, much like like a Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Apple makes a version of it called Apple TV. You plug it in and you set your iPhone up below your TV or wherever you want it, and it acts as the camera for you, and then whoever you want is on your TV then.
Ooh, very nice.
So
that's quite suave.
Yeah. A trick for Apple is it's whatever it is OS. So iPad OS.
Yeah.
Mac OS. Watch OS. The only thing that is not is iOS, where the I stands for iPhone.
Of course it does. They're not very creative, are they? Well, in their naming at least.
And then, so I think that's quite cool. Be very good for big FaceTime calls. Maybe could have been used in 2020 and 2021 a lot better if they advanced that. But
I would say so.
It's still good to see.
Yeah, but better late than never.
In terms of all of this development, developer betas are live now, so developers of apps and stuff are working away at them, and we will see the official launch in autumn of this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see it, and excited to show Sham emoji.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
And so WWDC is normally all about the software. But they do launch some products, and this year we were treated to 4 new products. So first of all, probably I think possibly the most boring of the products that were released is a 15-inch MacBook Air. It's running the M2 chip, incredibly fast. This is the first time this size is available on the non-Pro. So if you want the bigger screen but you don't need all the Pro features, you now have that option. I was excited because there was rumors that we were going to get a MacBook SE, just like a more affordable MacBook, like the SE series tends to do. But it is a 15-inch MacBook Air. Its starting price is $1,299.
That's not terrible, I suppose.
It's not terrible. That's for the base model, though. Base model, for most Macs is 256 gigabytes of storage. It is SSD, but not an awful lot, so you will need to invest in some expandable storage. The Mac Studio is also getting an upgrade with a new M2 Ultra chip.
M2 Ultra? Oh my lord.
So it's slated to be the fastest chip Apple has ever produced. It's starting at $1,999, so $1,999.
Dollars, by the way.
Dollars, yes. Everything is in dollars because I could be able to convert it. Reasonable. It's getting chunky now, but it's able to do more. And then the long overdue new Mac Pro with Apple Silicon has been dropped at this. Have you heard the story from the Mac Pro?
I don't think so, no.
So the previous Mac Pro was ancient. Like I think it was coming up on 6 years old or something, like that. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it was coming up. It was ancient, but its price had never dropped, so it was still the $7,000.
Ooh.
It didn't have any Apple Silicon. It didn't have any,
Yeah.
didn't have any improvement, but its price never dropped because Apple don't drop their prices until the next model comes out.
Right.
So a very, very good refresh. It's also, I believe, got the new M2 Ultra chip. It's said to be 3 times faster than the previous Intel Mac Pro.
Very nice,
which is beastly in itself.
Yeah.
And then, perhaps the biggest one, the Apple Vision Pro. Apple's new AR VR headset. Running 2 chips, the M2 chip and the R1 chip. And it's called Vision OS. A wee bit creative there.
I mean, yeah, sure.
And it's starting at $349. Have you seen it yet?
$3,499, everyone.
Oh, $3,499, yes.
I've seen the images for it. So I have it. It looks funky. It looks quite cool. I like the look of it.
I don't know. See, I think for that price point, it's just not worth it. Like, it is a revolutionary product.
Yeah.
Like, they show that you can look at your Mac Pro and then it brings up a bigger screen to work on your Mac. Yeah.
Right.
But you still need the Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a fair point, yeah. So you're spending $3,500 and then you need a Mac as well.
Yeah. But, you can watch large screen TV, which is quite cool, be cool on a plane, but it has to be plugged into the wall at all times. Because it's first gen,
Yep.
So I can see it maybe one day being worth it, but for now, I don't know. Some of the technology in it is amazing.
I'm totally with you on that. It is revolutionary. VR AR, fantastic.
Yeah.
But the price, it's not, right now, for your normal person, not worth it.
No. It's slated to be launching at the start of next year. And I just don't... Well, I don't see a use case in my life personally for it.
Yeah.
Because, I could see it being a useful thing to have on a plane, It's has really high pixel density, so you're getting an amazing picture. It's amazing technology. It's built from the ground up. It's fantastic,
Yeah, if it didn't need to be plugged into the wall, you would use it on the plane.
Yeah, but it's first generation, so you have to give them some of that. It's their first dip into it. It is... I think it's phenomenal technology. They have their new optic ID so that it scans your eyes.
Very nice, yeah.
One really creepy thing, I think. I think it's quite creepy. I don't know if I think you'll agree with me.
It is a bit strange, but there's probably a reason for it somewhere.
Oh, no, Shay. This is the creepy bit. If you want to do a FaceTime, it will scan your face first. You put the goggles on and it'll bring them up life-sized in their wee portrait. And then it'll show them an AI rendering of your face. The scanned part of your face.
Like a floating hologram.
Yeah, but it has cameras that points down so it can match your facial expressions.
That is a bit... What? But why? Why not just use your phone?
I think this will be more of an entertainment.
Yeah, definitely.
The path they should take with this is going towards the, integrate it more with tvOS and macOS rather than, AirPods, iOS and iPadOS. It could do iPadOS, to be fair, or watchOS. I think its future, the bigger headset, if they develop, more of a smaller, slimmer one in the glasses, kind of like the Google glasses.
Yes.
Yes, that could be, towards focus towards your mobile phone and your gear that you would have out and about.
Yeah.
But I think for something big and bulky like this, they should focus on
being an entertainment center.
Yeah,
basically.
and a workplace as well, because being able to get multiple screens off your MacBook.
Yeah, if you only have one screen but you need 3.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I can see. I think they should split up the products and make them specialties in their field.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the. Although that's not something Apple really does.
Well, you never know. They can change.
No,
it's not impossible.
They're famous for that. But anyway, that wraps up all the stuff that I wanted to talk about from WWDC. Have you anything to add, Shay, on what you believed of the WWDC?
Yeah, there's one thing I want to talk about, and that's the gaming mode for macOS.
Yes, I thought you might, because that's your specialty.
Absolutely is, yeah. Apple are very much known for not being the best. Usually, if you want a gaming PC, you go to Windows.
Yeah, or you build it.
Exactly.
Or Linux.
I mean, can we not bring Linux into this? Let's not talk about the problem child.
No, but Mac is very much productivity and creativity, whereas gaming it didn't really touch on.
Yeah. I mean, you can game on Macs. There's nothing saying you can't, but it's way more accessible on a Windows PC.
Yeah.
Than it is on a Mac. But it's interesting that they're actually finally, after however many years, finally going, here, gaming on Mac. You're welcome. Finally. Took you long enough.
I'm excited to see it because, I'm excited to see what some of the Apple Silicon can do gaming-wise.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what their specs can do compared to the Windows stuff.
Because, I don't know, the M1 chip and the M2 chip are very, they're very intense.
Yeah.
Processing and good processing power, paired with an external GPU, you could probably get a pretty decent gaming machine.
I'd say you probably could, yeah. The thing is, with gaming, it depends. Every game has a different way of running things.
Yeah.
Some games are better at single core, some games require multi-core, other ones take more VRAM on the GPU, other ones take more whatever. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it holds up compared to Windows PCs. I think you saying there is no GPU in it, it's built in?
It's on-built, but it's it's probably one of the better on-built ones onto the chip.
Okay. That would be the only thing I'd be worried about.
Yeah.
So it would. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more gaming on Mac. Because it'd be nice to have some proper Mac players joining Windows players. Bringing everyone together. That's one thing I've always wanted in gaming with Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. Whenever crossplay started to become a thing, I was so up for it. So up for it. So it'd be amazing to see some proper people going, well, I've got a Mac, I mostly do creative stuff, but now I can game on it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally up for it. Can't wait to see what they bring out for
it. Yeah. So that's all our hotspots at WWDC. If you want, it's I think it's an hour and a half to 2 hours of full video to watch if you want to watch and see maybe anything we didn't cover or go into more details, but we just don't have the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. I will pop a link below. So apart from WWDC, we do have one new thing coming to Android. The Motorola Razr Plus, brand new folding phone. It's a bit of an interesting one.
Yes, it's been called the first in the new generation of folding phones.
Ooh, very suave. But yeah, the specs are looking pretty good. It's got a Snapdragon 8 Plus first generation in it, which isn't bad. 8GB of LPDDR5 RAM. Not terrible. 256 gigs storage.
Decent for a phone.
Yep, definitely. 3800 milliamp hour battery. Pretty decent, yeah.
Yeah, as far as folding phones go, that's very good. The Samsung Flip only has a 3700 milliamp hour battery, I believe.
Awesome.
It's already outpunching it a wee bit.
Good. This could be a flagship killer, do you think?
No, the Samsung Flip is nearly a year old, so I think it's just innovations in that year.
Yeah, that seems about right. It's got 30-watt wireless charging.
30-watt charging, 5-watt wireless.
Yes. That's what I meant to say. I meant to say wired, but I said wireless. It's got an inside display 6.9 inches.
Yes, that's fairly big, but I feel like with the folding phone, you can have a bigger display because it folds to half the size.
Exactly, yeah.
And twice the thickness.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you. 1080p, obviously. That's standard for phones nowadays. OLED, of course. Again, standard. 165 hertz.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's really cool for phones as it goes, because like normally 120 hertz on a phone, that's seen as like a good phone,
Yeah.
Anything 60 hertz is seen as, that's a bit limited. 90 hertz I think is more, it's the base rate you have to, if you want, if you're releasing a phone, 90 hertz is standard.
Absolutely.
165, that's...
It's a bit of a weird number though. 165.
Yeah, but you have to remember like the screen that these phones are working. It's folding, so it's a bit awkward.
Yeah, it's strange. Usually it's an even number, but not part of 165. But that's alright. I mean, it's a good ass screen. I'm not gonna complain.
Do you know what's an even weirder number for the hertz of the screen?
What?
The outside screen, which is 144 hertz.
That's fine. 144 is what my monitor is.
Yeah, well, if you think...
144 is a standard one.
I suppose it is even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's even number.
Yeah.
Hertz usually goes 60, 90, 120, 144.
Yeah.
165 is just a bit weird. I don't know. That's just a bit strange.
Just caught you off guard.
Did a bit, to be honest. It's a wee bit. It's a bit strange. But anyway, past screen. Enough time with the screen. Dear God. 12 megapixel primary camera, 13 megapixel ultra wide / macro, which is nice.
Speaking of the screen, I think it's probably the outside screen is probably the biggest revolution of this, that it stretches fully the length of the phone.
Yeah.
So like I've seen some cool selfies where people put the two massive camera lenses as their eyes.
Oh.
Because it morphs around them, which I think is really... It's the future probably of the folding phones. That's why I think this is like the new generation. The Samsung Flip 5 is rumored to have this, but Motorola beat them to it.
Fair enough. Go on, use Motorola.
Let's go Motorola.
There is also the Razer Note Plus, which is, I assume, a bit cheaper, but also probably a bit smaller and a bit crappier.
I believe it doesn't have the full edge-to-edge screen on the front.
Right.
It has the smaller, like more like what you would see in like an Oppo Find N2 or the Floppo.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the old Floppo.
Yeah, but
the
specs-wise, I think it's very decent for a folding phone. It has a good enough camera.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, insane. There's decent charge. It has pretty good charging. It has wireless charging. It has a really good battery. 256 is slowly becoming more standard in, like that kind of Plus or Pro phones, depending on, which company it is. It's kind of becoming more standard. But 128 is seen as the base rate, so it has a higher than base rate. But then again, this is the Plus version, so that could be because of that.
Yep, true.
It has, fast memory. I think it'll do well.
Yeah, I think so as well. The specs look pretty good on it.
And then
I'm also in agreement with you.
Yeah. In terms of operating systems as well, Motorola's operating system, I think the only downside to it is whenever it boots up, it says Hello Moto.
Oh, that is a bit weird.
Yeah. But it's pretty much just stock Android, so with a couple of things added in. So it would run pretty similarly to your Pixel.
Okay, well, that's cool. So yeah, if you're an Android user and you want a flip phone, maybe have a look out for the Motorola Razr Plus.
Yes, especially as it looks like the Oppo, which I would say the Oppo Find N2 Flip, which I would say would probably the best flip phone. Not the best flip phone out at for Android. Well, for anything, now that it might be leaving the market, the Motorola Razr can step into that place.
That is a very good point. Yeah, we actually did talk a bit about that whenever we were talking about what would take Oppo's place in that area.
Yeah.
So this might be it.
It depends on the price, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
it depends
absolutely.
On the price. Oppo
definitely depends on the price.
Oppo within the sort of selling phone community and always known as the thing that did what Samsung was doing but for cheaper, or slightly better but for cheaper.
Yeah.
So if in terms of undercutting Samsung, the Motorola could take that place.
Yeah, no, very, very, very cool.
I love the screen on the outside. I think it is something that could definitely that's usable.
Yeah, absolutely.
The tiny screen on the current series of flip phones, except for the Find, I just think it's might as well not be there. In all honesty.
Yeah, you don't think you'd use it?
Yeah, but then the Find came out and you could use it as an outside, you could use the phone without opening it and do very basic functions.
Yeah.
So I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Bigger screen is always better, and I will not hear otherwise. Doesn't mean bigger phone is always better, but bigger screen.
Yeah.
That's why my daily carry is an iPad mini. Speaking of new Android phones, Sony quietly released the Sony Xperia 1.5 or
quietly?
1 Mark 5.
Did they sneak that under the radar?
Yeah, I think, with Google with their big announcement and Apple with their big announcement, it's like the Motorola phone, it kind of slipped under the radar as well.
Yeah,
that's what
makes sense.
Mostly happens with these non-mainstream phones.
Yeah.
They just kind of, no one really knows that, say, the big three of Google, Samsung, and Apple.
Especially whenever there's those two massive releases as well.
Yeah, they were bulky.
Yeah, it's like a single phone release is gonna just no one cares. Go away.
Yeah, but back to the new Xperia. It's got the classic Sony display of 6.5 inch with that classic Sony 21:9 aspect ratio, and then it's Sony, so all the specs are going to be phenomenal. You have a 120 Hz display, and it runs at 4K. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, the fastest chip on the market for Android phones at the moment. Running Android 13, the latest version of Android. It's available in either a 256 gigabytes with 12 gigs of RAM, or it's available in 512 with 12 gigabytes of RAM. The selfie camera is 12 megapixels, capable of shooting 4K at 30 FPS as a triple camera setup with a 48 megapixel shooter, a 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. We all knew Sony was going to have an amazing camera. They make the cameras for pretty much every other smartphone.
Yep, damn right, yep.
And then it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery with 30 watts of wire charging, with both wireless and reverse charging available on it as well. Do you want to hear the killer?
Sure.
£1,400 for the base model.
Ooh.
Well, sorry, dollars. $1,400.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the killer.
It's a bit expensive, yeah. I mean, fantastic specs.
Yeah.
Camera's amazing. Battery, fantastic. Storage is decent. Best Snapdragon on the market. 4K display? I mean...
It's only phone, I believe, that has that. It's a Sony thing. They have a 4K display. They also don't have, you know how on most phones you have the notch, or it's got a hole punch camera on it?
Yeah.
They have the full bar at the top. They have a bezel at the top and a bezel at the bottom because they have really high quality stereo speakers.
Oh.
It's just the classic Sony look. It still has an aux cord, an aux jack.
Very nice. Very impressive phone. But yeah, that price is a wee bit. That would make me look at it twice and think, is that worth it for me?
Yeah, and we were speaking about Motorola's Android, which is basically stock. It's not far off stock. I think Sony's Android can be described as Android complex. Android advanced, maybe.
Right.
So, for example, there's 3 apps for your camera.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you have all these different settings that you can play around with, and that's great if you're someone who loves, to, mess about with your settings to get the perfect picture. But for 90% of people, you just want to point at the thing and take a good picture.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Yeah, I mean, if you're a photographer and you just want to have a portable little camera with you, it might be fun for you. But I mean, for your normal person, you want to be able to point and shoot.
Yeah, if you're a photographer as well, you'll probably have a camera with you anyway.
That's the thing. I just don't see.
I think it's
3 apps. That's mental.
Yeah, it's always a hard recommend a Sony phone. I think it's marketed to so little people.
It's very niche.
Yeah, that and it's even less people that could justify that price for a smartphone. It has some upsides, like being a Sony. It's it operates well with Sony cameras, Sony headphones. It does phenomenally with all of them. Integration. I've seen people use it as a screen for their camera. You can plug it straight in and use it like that.
Oh yeah.
But I just don't think it's marketed to average people, and at the end of the day, average people is who buy phones.
Yeah, exactly.
They buy 90% of phones.
With that price, the specs are fantastic. Can't argue with that.
They're too good.
Price, yeah, they're fantastic. But the price, yeah, it's not for a normal person, really, is it?
No, I just don't.
Not for the likes of us.
No.
More common than me and you.
I'm also I know it's their design heritage, but personally I'm not a fan of the 21:9 aspect ratio. It's very tall and thin. It does make it easy to use in one hand, but it's just not for me.
Fair enough, yeah.
I like my phones to be short and fat, like me.
Hey. So the last thing before we head off, I wanted to have a little chat about was Apple might be giving away MagSafe.
Yes, we're a wee bit late to this one, we'll admit, but I don't know, I think it'll be quite interesting as we have me, who is very big into MagSafe, and Shay, who didn't know what it was until I started to use it.
Yep. So Apple are working with the Wireless Power Consortium to give them the foundations of MagSafe so they can use it in the new Qi 2.
Yeah, so I think fundamentally it means Apple, I think, has the patent on to put using magnets within wireless charging, so they are working with them to do that. I think is how it breaks down, if I remember.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah,
so this might mean Android phones might be getting MagSafe? Question mark.
Yeah, so with Qi 2 becoming the standard, it will probably be a lot more widespread than any wireless pad you have now is Qi 1 or Qi. So basically everything will probably move on to become Qi 2 in the future. And if this involves magnets, that means that you will have MagSafe on your new Android phones.
Awesome. I quite like that. I'm looking forward to that.
Are you excited?
I am, yeah, I actually am. That will be I don't know how much I'll use MagSafe, I'll be honest, but I think it's something that's useful to have.
Yeah, it's one of them things.
It's nice to have it as an option.
Yeah, it's one of them things, when you start using it, you don't realise how incredibly useful it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just be able to slap a wallet / a stand on the back of your phone that you can then take off.
Yeah, I get you.
I actually wanted to ask you a question. You've seen I have a lot of MagSafe accessories.
Yeah.
You've seen me use quite a lot of them. What one of them would you choose to add to your Pixel 7 Pro?
I probably most useful for me, whenever I get the car back, if I get the car back, would probably be the actual stand on the car. I think that'll probably be the most useful.
Especially my new one, which
Yes.
will be in a tech spotlight soon. Don't quote me on that.
Hashtag plug.
Yeah. I think that's... Yeah, I think that's probably one of the better ones that I own. I think my Moth wallet, I love.
Yeah.
I literally use it every day. I think once you try that, I think you'd really enjoy that. Having the be able to prop your phone up anywhere you go, to have your important cards, and save on pocket space.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I do carry around a big hefty wallet with me.
Yeah,
and I was looking into getting like a Ridge wallet or something, but now that I know this is coming, might change my mind.
Just to be clear, it won't be available on older Android phones as they don't have the magnets, but it will probably roll out on other Android phones in the future.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, very interesting that Apple are actually working with the wireless power consortium for this.
They're famous for not working with people.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was very interested by. I was like, Apple? What? Going out of their way to help others? What?
Well,
it would be ridiculous.
It may not seem as altruistic. Is that the right word? I don't know. We're going
altruistic?
With it.
Yeah.
Just do that. It may not seem as
altruistic
as you may think, because at the end of the day, Apple's goal, and I think it's pretty out there that this is known, is to have a portless iPhone. So if they can steer the whole world towards having no wireless, that will make it much easier for them to have that.
That makes sense. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you there. Yep.
That it may not be I'm not saying that is the reason they're doing it, but it was probably brought up whenever it was being developed. Makes sense. But yeah, that wraps us up on this podcast today. Join us next week at the same time and the same place to find what we're talking about next week, which we kind of know we don't know. Last time we did tell you what we were going to talk about the following week, and then Shay was sick, so we didn't get to talk about it. So we'll not risk it.
We're not risking it this time. We don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
If you're really hungry for more of us, you can check Shay's YouTube channel down below. I also post a lot on my Instagram. We have a TikTok as well that I manage. I don't do it very well. But if you want more from Shay, YouTube channel is probably the best place to find you, Shay.
That would absolutely be correct. Yep, check out the YouTube channel. I do have an Instagram account as well, but I don't think it's linked to the link tree yet.
And for me, probably Instagram, where there should be a new spotlight going up on Friday.
Oh, fantastic. Go check that out, everyone.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, see you next week.
Bye-bye.